DVD. Come along for imagination, adventure, music, and learning in these all-new DVDs.
Is everyone ready to go?
Can you count down to fun? Learn along with Barney in Accounting We Will Go, an all-new DVD special with a fun-filled 64-page bonus activity book.
We could have a counting party!
Meet some new animal friends in Furry Friends, from puppies to kittens, and so many more cute animals to explore.
That'll be terrific!
Sing along to your favorite tunes in Songs from the Park with a bonus music CD.
Let's jump and sing, we can do anything. It's a fun, fun, sunny day.
And learn how proper manners can strengthen friendships in Please and Thank You.
It's a very fancy party, so everyone has to use their best manners.
Good manners! Good manners! Good manners are important to everyone in the world.
All with your best friend Barney, where you can learn, play, laugh, and share. Barney and Friends. Look for them on DVD.
Bye-bye.
Get ready for an adventure of prehistoric proportions in the all-new Bob the Builder movie, The Big Dino Dig. Let's get started. Bob and his crew leave no stone unturned as they start to build an amusement park.
Can we build it?
Yes, we can!
It might be all roller coasters and rides for some, but Bob and his friends have a big job to do. And they're all about to make some mammoth discoveries.
Wait a second. You found a T-Rex!
Don't miss Bob the Builder's all-new colossal adventure, The Big Dino Dig. Out now on DVD.
Rock and roll!
Guess who's taking her next steps on DVD?
I'm Angelina Ballerina.
Join Angelina at her new performing arts school, Camembert Academy, where she discovers new friends, new music, and new dance styles like hip-hop, jazz, and tap. Take center stage with Angelina Ballerina and her friends in her new DVD, Love to Dance. Available now.
Now available on DVD.
I'll race you to Tidmouth Sheds.
It's Thomas and Friends in Splish, Splash, Splosh.
That's exciting.
Bust by buffers!
New stories
Coming right up! They're laughing at my funny funnel.
and new friends.
I'm Charlie!
Everyone says he is the most fun engine ever.
Join Thomas and Friends for all new adventures.
Look out, Thomas!
Help! Splish, splash, splosh!
Own it on DVD today.
That was fun.
For your convenience, this DVD has been enhanced with Hit Entertainment's Autoplay. Your program and a selection of bonus features will begin automatically. To bypass autoplay, select the main menu button at any time. Your feature presentation will begin in a moment. Enjoy.
Thomas and Friends, making tracks to great destinations. It was full steam ahead on the island of Sodor. All the engines were running on time. They wanted to finish their work quickly because tonight was Halloween. The engines loved seeing the children in their Halloween costumes. And the engines loved to hear tales of ghostly engines and scary steam trains. That evening, Sir Topham Hatt came to Tidmouth Sheds. "Thomas and Emily, you must go to the smelter's yard," he said. "An important delivery of iron must be collected right away." "Yes, sir," they puffed. Percy thought the smelter's yard was spooky. He was worried about his friends. "Look out for ghosts," he whistled nervously. "It is Halloween." "There's no such thing as ghosts," Thomas said cheerfully. It's just silly make-believe, added Emily. And they steamed off to the smelter's yard. The sun was setting, and it was getting dark. Imagine being scared of Halloween, puffed Thomas. Or the smelter's yard, sniffed Emily. Pah, added Thomas. Thomas and Emily enjoyed feeling brave. But when they got to the smelter's yard, it was very spooky. Oh my, whispered Emily. Oh dear, hissed Thomas. They puffed slowly through the piles of jagged steel and twisted scrap. The air grew hotter and the smoke grew thicker. Harry and Bert were lurking nearby. The two Diesels saw the chance to scare a couple of steamies. When Thomas and Emily rolled by, they moaned and groaned. It sounded spooky. What was that? Snapped Emily. You said there was no such thing as ghosts. Silly make-believe, you said, gasped Thomas. Suddenly, a freight car began to shudder and shake. Cinders and ashes, cried Thomas. Help, wailed Emily. It's a ghost. Let's get away from here. They didn't know Harry and Bert had been bumping the flatbed's buffers. The two naughty Diesels were having great fun. Thomas and Emily pulled up to the smelting shed. They gasped at the ghostly shadows and fizzing sparks. Their wheels felt as if they were frozen, but they had to go inside. I hope the ghost hasn't gone in there, quaked Thomas. Me too, quivered Emily. And they both rolled slowly into the smelting shed. Inside, chains clanked and strange shadows danced across the walls. Must be brave, Thomas puffed. But it was spooky. Emily was turning around, ready to shun some freight cars. Suddenly, a great whoosh of sparks lit up the shed. Bust my buffers, cried Emily. Emily was scared. She didn't notice the huge white tarp. It fell, covering her from funnel to footplate. The ghost! It's got me! She steamed away as fast as her pistons could pump. Thomas thought Emily was the ghost, and he raced out of the smelting shed. The ghost is after me, cried Thomas. Harry and Bert thought Emily was the ghost too, and they raced away. Thomas was right behind them, and Emily was right behind Thomas. Help, Emily cried. The ghost has got me! Harry, Bert, Thomas, and Emily raced towards Tidmouth's sheds. Tidmouth's sheds was quiet and peaceful. All the engines were fast asleep. Thomas's whistle soon woke them up. It's Thomas, cried Percy. Something must be wrong. Suddenly, he saw Thomas, Harry, and Bert racing into the yards. Stop! He cried. Harry, Bert, and Thomas applied their brakes. They stopped just in time. The ghost is after us, whistled Thomas. Percy was scared. But just then, Emily raced under a signal and the tarp flew off. That's no ghost, said Percy. That's Emily. The engines didn't feel scared anymore, but they did feel foolish. Sir Topham Hatt arrived wearing his pajamas. What is all this fuss and bother? He boomed. It has caused confusion and delay. But, sir, cried Thomas, the flatbeds were rattling. And we heard moaning, said Emily. And groaning, added Thomas. Sir Topham Hatt looked at Harry and Bert. Do you know anything about this? He asked sternly. It was us, sir, Bert mumbled. For your punishment, you go back and collect the iron at once, said Sir Topham Hatt. Yes, sir, said Harry and Bert, and they rumbled away. Whenever Thomas and Emily went back to the smelter's yard, they knew there was nothing to be scared of. After all, there is no such thing as ghosts. It was all silly make-believe.
The engines on the island of Sodor look forward to Halloween. They love Sir Topham Hatt's fireworks and the children dressing up as wizards and witches. They also love Edward's spooky stories. They say that on Halloween, the ghost engine returns to the smelters looking for his lost whistle. Ooh, 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 ah, spooky, the engine said, all shivering a little. Later, Sir Topham Hatt arrived. Thomas, Percy, and Duck, I have a special job for you. You are to collect some scrap from the smelter's yard tonight. On Halloween? Don't worry. You will be back in time for the fireworks. Percy isn't worried about missing the fireworks, teased Thomas. He's a scaredy engine. I am not called Percy, but he was a little. At the smelters, all Percy could think about was Edward's ghost engine. Thomas knew Percy was scared, so he teased him even more. What's that up there? Thomas squeaked. Is it a spook? It's just a piece of twisted scrap, Percy said nervously. Isn't it? Thomas was having fun. He kept on teasing Percy. Careful the ghost engine doesn't get you, Thomas said. There's no such thing as ghosts, snapped Percy. Duck felt sorry for Percy. Nobody's brave all the time, said Duck. But I'm not a scaredy engine, Percy insisted. The job was nearly complete. Well done, the yard manager said. Now I'll need one engine to finish up. Duck wanted to pay Thomas back for all his teasing. Please, sir, he said. I'm sure Thomas wouldn't mind staying. Of course not, Thomas boasted. I'm not a scaredy engine. So Duck and Percy left. When Thomas was by himself, every sound and every shadow was spooky. He was beginning to feel very scared. There's no such thing as ghosts, he said nervously. Who's there? Thomas was so busy looking for ghosts, he didn't watch where he was going. The chains felt like ghost fingers. Something's got me! Thomas wheeshed and set off an old steam whistle. Ghost whistle, said Thomas, and he raced away as fast as his wheels could carry him. The ghost engine is after me! It was naughty of Thomas to tease you, Percy, said Duck. He was only playing, said Percy. I hope he hurries up. I wouldn't want him to be late for the fireworks. He's after me! I don't think you'll be late, said Duck. Duck and Percy joined the other engines for the fireworks. Where's Thomas? Percy asked. He'll miss all the fun. It would serve him right after all his teasing, Duck said. But Percy was worried. He went to look for his friend. He found Thomas all alone in the shed. "Are you all right, Thomas?" he said. "Yes, I'm sorry I teased you, Percy," Thomas said. "Duck was right. We all feel scared sometimes." "And we all have to say sorry sometimes," said his friend. "So come on, Thomas. We can watch the fireworks just as well from here." And he was right.
James's discovery. James, the red engine, was restless. Since his accident with the trucks in the cow pasture, the Fat Controller had let him shunt around the big station to gain confidence with trucks again. But James had been shunting for some time and was eager to see the rest of the main line.
"I'm tired of being tethered to the big station," he said to the others one night. "I long to stretch my wheels."
The engines were tired of hearing James complain, but all of them had been in his position before, so they couldn't be cross. "Be patient, little James," Gordon said. "I'm sure the Fat Controller will let you out into the world soon." James's chance came sooner than expected. The Fat Controller sat in his office one morning when an important call came. Yes? A special train? Who is this? Hello? The phone clicked and was silent. The station master came in. You rang for me, sir? Yes. I've just received a call from a station I thought for many years to be vacant. They're asking for a special train. What kind of train, sir? A goods train, he replied solemnly. Surely it's a joke, sir. The Fat Controller looked very grim. No, I'm afraid it's not. Well, who will take this train?
"A goods train, sir? Down the main line? Do you mean it?" James said excitedly.
Yes, said the Fat Controller, but listen very carefully. You're to take these trucks to the old station and leave them there. Pay attention to the rails and do not lose your way. James wasn't sure what the Fat Controller meant, but he was happy to be out of the yards. Later that afternoon, James set out for his destination. James loved it. He cherished the wind in his face and the countryside rushing past.
"Finally, a chance to stretch my wheels."
It took some time to reach the old station. By then, the sky was getting dark. "Would you look at this?" James's driver remarked, pointing to the station. "This used to be the junction to an old branch line, long before you came along, James."
"Really? Who ran the branch line?"
"An old engine, about the same size as Thomas. He was put out of service a long time ago."
"What's happened?"
James asked, beginning to feel uneasy. I don't remember exactly," his driver replied. James got the feeling that his driver wasn't telling him something. James and his crew set down the trucks in an old siding. A thick fog was beginning to form. "We'd better hurry back," said James's driver. "The fog is making it hard to see." The fog did make it hard to see. So hard, in fact, that James started down the wrong track. Down the old branch line. Neither the driver nor the fireman recognized the mistake.
"Something's wrong," said James. "The track feels rough."
"It's an old section of main line. You're just not used to it, James." Suddenly, James saw a flash of red lights in the distance.
"What's that?" James cried. "That's not a signal. That's a..."
The fog began to lift, and James realized he was not on the main line. James was not sure where he was, but what he saw there terrified him. Up ahead was an old engine shed. In its stall sat an old, dead engine, rusted from smoke box to cab. The only light came from a busted red tail lamp, which sat on the engine's footplate.
"Oh, horrors!"
James cried. He closed his eyes and ran back as fast as his wheels would let him. He was going so fast that when he returned to the old station, he smashed into the trucks in the siding, spilling their contents. Inside the trucks was what appeared to be demolition equipment. James didn't stop for long to inspect the goods. He hurried back up the main line to get back to his shed. The old station sat eerily quiet. The door of the station building creaked open, and out stepped the Fat Controller. He sighed as he saw the contents of the trucks strewn about on the ground. "I really hope James wouldn't have cheated us," he muttered to himself. "I've got to correct my mistakes, no matter how old." Taking off his jacket, the Fat Controller piled as much of the equipment in his car as he could and hurried down the dirt road toward the old engine shed.
Toby's Ghost. Toby the tram engine loved working at the quarry. It was always a hive of activity as stone was cut into the towers and moved down the conveyors into the trucks, ready to be taken to other areas of the island for use in buildings, fences, and many other things. Quarry work could be hectic and very dirty, but it was honest work, and Toby was good at it. Toby had years of experience, to be sure, but he also knew how to work with trucks. Toby loved telling them stories, and the trucks loved to hear them. However, Toby was known to embellish his stories somewhat. One day, the foreman approached Toby and his crew about a large stone delivery. "It's been ordered from an anonymous party near the old branch station," said the foreman. Toby, his driver, and his fireman traded nervous glances. "That's odd," said Toby. We haven't set wheel on that part of the island for a long time. That's right, said the foreman. What's stranger still is that Sir Topham Hatt expedited the shipment to the old station, which means we need to get busy preparing the train. Toby set to work shunting the trucks into a long line, each being loaded one by one with fresh-cut stone. All the while, Toby felt very uneasy about the whole affair.
"You look grim,"
said the leader of the train. "It's the old station," Toby replied. "It's been a long time since we got any correspondence from there at all."
"It's just an old station. What's there to be nervous about?"
Toby looked down at his buffers. A few days ago, James was asked to drop off a goods train there. Last time I spoke to him, he told me about something he saw.
"What?
What? The trucks chattered. Let me tell you a story," said Toby. Many years ago, before the other engines arrived, there was an old engine that lived on an old branch line. They say he was just a prototype since he bore no number. He worked on a big railway on the mainland for many years, but fell ill and was brought here to the island for lighter branch line work. But as time went on, the old engine's health began to get worse. His parts became worn and he was in pain no matter what he did. The controller at that time didn't care much for the engine or his pain, and the poor engine took matters into his own hands.
"What did the engine do?"
The old engine, to escape his pain, ran his passenger train off the rails and into the ravine. The trucks were horrified. They say his ghost still haunts that old station. That's why I'm nervous. I believe James must have seen the old engine's ghost. The trucks were spooked by Toby's story. Soon, it was time for Toby and the stone trucks to leave for the old station, and the trucks were scared.
What if the old engine's ghost is lurking around the old station?
They said to one another.
"What if we fall into the ravine?"
It took a long time to get to the old station. The part of the main line from which the station branched was old and overgrown and hadn't been traveled on for a long time. Toby pushed the trucks into the siding and prepared to leave to go back to the quarry. The trucks didn't want him to go.
"Where are you going?"
they cried. "You won't be able to be unloaded until the morning," said Toby. "We have other trains to prepare for the morning. I'll come back for you tomorrow." Suddenly, they heard a strange sound coming up the branch line. It sounded almost like an engine, but there weren't any engines around. "Who's there?" called Toby's driver. But there was no answer. The sound became louder, but now it was the sound of squeaking metal, like a rusty wheel that hadn't been oiled for a long time. Toby and the trucks were completely silent, looking all around them for the source of the noise. Then, at the crest of the hill leading to the branch line, they saw the silhouette of an old engine. Toby backed up quickly to the trucks to get away. They all stood quivering. It's the
ghost engine!
The trucks cried. A spotlight flashed on. Standing there was Sir Topham Hatt, and there was Thomas, pushing an old rusty engine. "Oh, it's only you, Toby," said Sir Topham Hatt. "For a moment there, I thought there were trespassers." "Sir, what are you doing here?" exclaimed Toby. "Well, Toby, the time has come for us to face what happened to this old branch line. I thought the engine who ran this old line perished in the ravine, sir," Toby said. "No, Toby. This was an old contractor's engine I used to build this branch line many years ago. When the war started, I was never able to finish it, and I had to leave him here. But, sir, the stories. I know what the stories say, Toby, but none of them are true. My engine was weak, but he was a hard worker. It broke my heart to leave him here, but I was needed elsewhere. So Topham Hatt sounded close to tears. He lived a good life on his little branch line, and now I'm rebuilding it in his honor. My old friend here will be sent to be used as a model for the statue. Soon, we'll have a nice attraction for the island's visitors. Toby was most surprised. I had no idea. Don't believe everything you hear, Toby. Sir Topham Hatt was true to his word. Soon, the old branch line was up and running and became a very popular destination for passengers. The old engine statue glistened in the sunshine. Looking at that statue, Toby realized that sometimes there's more to a story than meets the eye.
And every year on the date of the accident, it runs again as a warning to others, plunging into the gap, shrieking like a lost soul. Percy, what are you talking about? The ghost train. Driver saw it last night. Where? Asked Thomas and Toby. He didn't say. Oh, it makes my wheels wobble to think of it. Huh, said Thomas. You're just a silly little engine. I'm not scared. Thomas didn't believe in your ghost, said Percy next morning. His driver laughed. Neither do I. It was only a pretend ghost story. Percy was disappointed. That evening, he came back from the harbor. Percy knew where he was, even in the dark. Crow's Farm Crossing. We shan't be long now. He liked running at night. Rails hummed and the signal lights shone green. But a broken cartload of lime lay ahead. Sam the farmer had just gone for help. Percy broke the cart to smithereens. Lime flew everywhere. He puffed quickly to the nearest signal box. Percy's driver explained what had happened. I'll see to it, said the signalman, but you'd better clean Percy, or people will think he's a ghost. Percy chuckled. Do let's pretend I'm a ghost and scare Thomas. That'll teach him to say I'm a silly little engine. Toby promised to help. Thomas was being oiled up for his evening train. Percy's had an accident, cried Toby. Poor engine, said Thomas. Botheration. That means I'll be late. They've cleared the line for you, but there's something worse. Out with it, Toby. I can't wait all evening. I've just seen something, said Toby. It looked like Percy's ghost. It said it was coming here to warn us. Huh. Who cares? Don't be frightened, Toby. I'll take care of you. Pee, pee, pip, 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 pee. Let me in. Let me in, wailed Percy. No, no, not by the smoke of my chimney, chim, chim. I'll chuff and I'll puff and I'll break your door in. Oh dear, exclaimed Thomas. It's getting late. Oh, I'd no idea. Oh, I must find Annie and Clarabelle. It was morning when Thomas returned. Where have you been? Asked Toby. Ah, well, said Thomas. I knew you'd be sad about Percy, and I didn't like to intrude. I slept in the freight shed and... Oh, sorry, can't stop. Got to steer coach about to train. Percy was none the worse for his adventure and was still enjoying himself enormously. He had heard everything. Well, well, well. What do you know about that? Anyone would think, chuckled Toby, that our Thomas had just seen a ghost.
It was a moonlit night. Henry was taking a goods train to the station by the lake. Whenever that owl hoots, a mist rolls in, murmured Edward. There's a legend that when the mist's about, there's a ghost about too. Take care on the old line, Henry.
Stupid bird, said Henry. Owls, mists, ghosts. Edward's going soft at the boiler. There's no mist.
But Henry was wrong.
What's that? Cried Henry.
It's an amber lamp, murmured his driver. That means proceed with caution. Who's there? No one replied. Henry crept slowly forward. He stopped by a tree. It had a sign nailed to it, "Beware of the viaduct." The driver was surprised. No one warned us about that before. And look, the signal's red. And the gates are closed. And there's a fogman's coat. But where is its owner? Then they saw a light move within the station building.
Ghosts!
Exclaimed Henry.
Edward was right.
Something very strange is happening, said his driver. I think it's best we go back.
So do I,
agreed Henry. By morning, the mist had cleared. A workman was talking about the unsafe viaduct. Lucky you didn't cross it last night. Yes, but we don't know who warned us, replied Henry's driver. Later that day, he spoke to Henry. The viaduct has been repaired. We can take our train back along the old line tonight. Henry really didn't want to. But when nightfall came, he was sizzling nicely. Suddenly, an owl hooted, and then Gordon thundered by. Oh, look, Henry's spooked, said a freight car.
Be quiet,
snapped Henry.
I'm not scared.
But he was. A little later, the fog came down. As they approached the same area, they saw the amber light again. Here we go, said Henry's driver. Then, unknown to Henry, the gates mysteriously closed by themselves, and the signal went red. The freight cars had seen everything, and they were spooked. Faster, faster, there's a ghost about. Stop, stop, yelled Henry. A mysterious figure watched Henry go by. Ahead was a landslide blocking the line. Henry braked hard, but the freight cars hit some of the rubble and plunged into the ravine. Just then, Henry's driver saw a strange sight coming towards them. What's that? He said. The fireman laughed. That's our ghost. It's Old Bailey, the fogman. Old Bailey was very cross. I tried to warn you about the viaduct. Why didn't you pay attention? We're sorry, replied the driver. Is there anything we can do to thank you? I'd like to operate that old station. If you let me, I promise I won't spook Henry again. And in a little while, Old Bailey's wish was granted. You and your station will be really useful, said Sir Topham Hatt. Let's hear a hearty thank you to the friendliest,
ghost on the island.
Everyone cheered, especially Henry, who was the happiest of all.